fairly okay. Lab was impressive as well on this Ana.
Yeah, he did play well on the Ana on King's Row. It looks like they are going to go for it too. Seeing it is Silly Sunday, Jordan.
It is indeed. Sydney Drop Bears will go for a more standard 3-3 composition.
It's exactly the same compositions we had in our last game. Let's see how Sydney Drop Bears approach it though. Looks to be pretty much the same, except a Winston gets hooked instead of a Deagle.
Yeah, and there was a bubble as well. Andre went off the edge. Nicely done from Fluoro. That's an excellent start and probably finished the fight as well, all things considered. Stolen has managed to boop Shoyu off by the looks of things, but it's just too late in the fight.
Yeah, good mechanics from Fluoro there. The smooth wall ride up, and Fundre doesn't hit the shift in time.
Not something that you would have been able to do, being a floor Lucio.
Oh yeah, you don't really get them from the floor, do you?
No, you don't. Just an aura bot, really, at that point, aren't you?
Pretty much, yeah. Just a yelling aura bot. So we see the recontest now for Legacy. How are they going to cement themselves on this point? Interesting turret location. That's pretty cute.
Yeah, may not be too easy to actually dispatch of either, although Shoyo does manage to get it. His mech got booped off. I'm not sure what happened there, but regardless, the fight is very clean and easy here for Sydney Drop Bears. Legacy definitely not reaching the same heights as Athletico did with this composition on this point.
They don't look as clued in as Athletico. Maybe they know the composition, but they don't know how to play it. But it's looking good for the side of Sydney Drop Bears. Nayang.
Yeah. I mean, you haven't really noticed Nayang either. Like that's, and I think that's good as a player coming into the roster.
Yeah. We do have the Nano Boost comes up now. It'll be interesting to see who you put on. No obvious targets for me to who to put it on, really, actually. It looks like an ult that you can use to sustain your tanks. Not really used as offensive. Fluoro gets picked off, though, in the wrong neighborhood, and now we'll go. They'll spew onto the point. No threat of the environmental. Dreamer gets taken out too. This is a good start for Legacy Esports.
Yeah, another nice hook, and Kraken will actually get the Transcendence off before he goes down, but look at this, whole hog! Doesn't come out in time to push everybody off. Well, Shoyo has the boosters by the looks of things, so he'll be okay. Ronnie's done a fair bit of damage in this fight, but actually the point still persists there for Sydney Drop Bears, and I think the respawns have come in time. Ronnie's off the edge. See you, mate.
Yeah, Legacy haven't looked like they could get this cement on the point yet. Fundre, I don't think he's built an ult yet either, so he's really looking out of place here. They're on the right composition, but they're just not sure how to execute, it seems. They have a lot of ults going into this fight. If they can get the touch, which might be a bit difficult, actually.
They'll get a touch, but I don't know how much further they're going to be able to push it. Noosh, he's on there with the Blizzard, and there comes the Molten Core as well. It's going to force all of Sydney Drop Bears off of the point, and maybe for long enough for Legacy to actually get the cap, but the other side of things, maybe not. Obviously, Sydney Drop Bears straight in for the recontest, and with that Primal Rage, even despite the fact that Dreamer got slapped, it's going to be too easy for Sydney Drop Bears here. 99-0, soon to turn into 100-0. Stolen Picnic will not be lasting too long, and Legacy much the same on the first point of Nepal.
Yeah, Fluoro getting some key environmental kills there to open up the map once. The first fight is so important for these bunker compositions. If they can get themselves cemented on the point, then they're hard to dislodge, but if Urissa goes off the map, it's pretty hard to get cemented in there. And now we see Shrine. We didn't see Shrine in the previous matchup. It went to Village, so it does look like they're going back to the 3-3 composition. Baptiste selected for Rani, but Legacy Esports haven't really played that much. So
Not
yeah,
sure
okay,
that'll
so
last.
back to the brig.
Well, this is more what we're used to seeing from Legacy, and what they did have a bit of success with last season.
Yeah,
a huge amount of success though on this last week.
No, not the massive success they had at the start of last season, I believe it was, versus what was the Warriors roster, Blank Esports. So
both teams get to the point roughly the same time, maybe Legacy slightly sooner, but not that it matters a whole lot. Andre going to push on forward here and try and do the damage, but he himself is down at about half HP, drops to a quarter and has to back away. That'll give room now for Sydney Drop Bears to move forward and take their advantages, and well, Runny is going to be the first advantage that is taken, and they are now up for Sydney Drop Bears, means they can actually move a little more aggressively, deciding not to, and just to take the point capture instead. Smart moves here from Sydney Drop Bears.
yeah, you can see the ult lead as well. Winter already having this rally means he was doing a lot of damage that fight, also a lot of healing. The Kraken does get picked off by Stolen Picnic. Winter misses the armor pack, unfortunately. The Diva, Shoyo, just eats that. But he should be able to get back in time if Fluoro is there to taxi him. Good start from Sydney Drop Bears though, they've looked solid. Haven't looked phased by anything the Legacy have thrown at them.
Not at all. We're going to be seeing a Shadow come up in this fight, so Dreamer, what is he going to be able to do? What is Fundray going to be able to do? Maybe the Graviton Surge goes first. Well, Shadow comes at much the same time. That was from Fundray, didn't cause a whole lot of problems. This one from Dreamer might, however, there is a grab out from the other side. That's Ike's, and Dreamer has to push on forward just with the hammer. Sound barrier now out from Sydney Drop Bears, keeping them healthy. Stolen has already invested his, and unless this self-destruct does much, you might not see Legacy have a good time here. It's a 1-for-1, but Fundray persists in the fight where Dreamer does not. And Reinhardt, the advantage is actually quite big. That's another grab out from Niang, is it? I don't know if that was his second or his third.
That was his second of the fight. He started off with one.
That's what I thought, but I was like, that was a fast grab.
That's a 13 ult fight, Jordan. Everybody.
I'm glad you counted because I didn't.
Oh, I was looking at it. I was waiting for it, but yeah, that was a very fast grab, second grab built there. So
good early signs then for Niang.
Very good early signs, and because they kept control of the point the whole time, that means one thing: it's last fight time for Legacy, and
oh God,
they're looking pretty dry.
Yeah, Fundray, he'd asked for another bigger Shadow here. He has built it. Can't even get into a position to allow him to use it. Well, he throws it out, but I'm not sure that it's going to have too much of an impact. Certainly, Dreamers did, and Legacy. This looks to be 2 full clean holds from Sydney Drop Bears. 100-0 here. And not really much to write home about there for Legacy on Nepal.
No, 200-0 on the map, and that is a very dominant start from the side of the Sydney Drop Bears. Winter popping that Brig rally at the start of that fight, marking Fundray means Fundray, no fun for Fundray.
No fun for Fundray. I don't think there was any fun for anyone there on Legacy, to be honest. Didn't really feel like any instance where Legacy was getting the advantage at all on Nepal.
No, they didn't feel very in control of anything, which is unfortunate for Legacy, but hopefully that doesn't, spew into the next map. Hopefully the Paris map can be a bit cleaner. Here we go, Fluoro on the rollout. Gets that big kill on Fundray, but...
That said, I do like what I'm seeing from Sydney Drop Bears. They're looking coordinated, they're looking clean, they're looking solid. Decent start for Niang as well. So, seems like it's really looking even better than last week. That said, it is a little bit easier to look good against a team like Legacy as opposed to a team like Water, so we'll withhold my judgment for a while.
Yeah, very good start on the side of Sydney Drop Bears. That's we're back to normal. We're back to a bit of a sensible Sunday has kicked in now. We've had silly Sunday, now it's sensible because the balance has been restored. And I don't know, I've been impressed with Lab still. I still think he's a bit of a hidden gem in this Legacy roster. I really want to see him get more room to work with. I want to see Legacy play a bit more aggressive, give him a bit more space, because he was still beating a Kraken in ult charge in the first rollout fights. Summertime, so there's signs there.
How much difference can one player make? That's the real question. Perhaps not a whole lot. But we did talk a lot about Ike last season. We talked about Fundray a lot last season, even last week. We kind of gave them props. So if a few of these guys can start coming online for Legacy, there may be something to be said. But I wonder if it's going to be a situation where it's kind of a little bit too little too late. We get on to our final map where we get to Rialto, it's 3-0. Sydney Drop is like, you know what, we've won the series. And then maybe Legacy sneaks one away, but for all intents and purposes, it's a map that doesn't have a huge amount of impact until Legacy can get a win in a whole series.
No, I mean, taking those individual maps versus the top teams is all well and good, but you do need those series wins to get, the points on the board. You don't get points for map wins, you just get map wins, which helps in differential. Doesn't help in standings too much.
Well, that was the issue last season for Legacy. Like, they had a 2-2 against Blank. They had some decent matches where they got lots of a map off of pretty strong opponents. But at the end of the day, they really only had one match win. That was over Atletico. And then when they lost that match to Mind Freak, it was, basically, unfortunately, the end of their season. Which could well be the case again here this season for Legacy, unless they start to go pretty hard. But with that said, for Legacy, it has been a pretty difficult start to the season. You have to go up against Warriors, which we know has, made a few upgrades to their roster. And then you have to go up against Sydney Drop Bears, who are 3 times champions, at least the organisation and a couple of the players. They've added a few players in as well. That makes the roster look pretty decent. So it's not an easy start to the season here for Legacy at all.
No, they drew the short straw, but I mean, getting the hard ones out of the way isn't always the worst. Maybe they can find some momentum into the middle section and the late section of the season and pick up some wins. They don't look out of their depth though, Yeah, they looked they looked out of their depth on Nepal, but last week they didn't look like they were struggling too much. And Warriors, I mean, now that Order has dropped a series, Warriors could be the strongest team in the tournament. So
Maybe.
who knows?
Or maybe it could be Sydney Drop Bears. Who knows? We still have yet to see. I mean, we're only in week 2. It's a bit early to be making kind of assumptions like that, really, because things can change so easily. You know, even going back to last season, we saw Order get 4-0'd during the season by Sydney Drop Bears, and then come season finals, they 4-1 Sydney Drop Bears. So what a difference, 5 or 6 weeks can make. And we still have 5 weeks left of this season. So
yeah, we've got a long time. Lab locked in the Widowmaker. They are on the defense, so they could be running this. This is the comp they ran last week versus Warriors on Dorado, and they managed to take the win there.
He likes those scopes.
Yeah, he likes the scopes. I mean, normally the Arna's played here. That's what we saw from Atletico previously, or in the series before. But if he's feeling the Widowmaker, you can get big value off it. You know, it is a hero that can turn the tides of battle, I guess, with a few quick headshots.
Looks like it's a DPS setup for Sydney Drop Bears, though.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a bit of a half-half. Usually you go with the Farah and Hanzo to break down the shield, or you go with the Genji, Ana, and Sombra. So Winter might be swapping to Genji here, maybe?
Or maybe they just go back to standard 3-3.
No, he's going onto the Farah. Okay, so it is going to be like the spam composition. So they're just looking to break this Orisa shield and then push the Legacy Esports side back, into a corner where their Farah rockets, their Hanzo arrows can get some big value. Be interesting to see the Widow duel though. They're always good fun to spectate. So Ike's already taken out Dreamer. Dreamer didn't get further. Ooh, very close there. Dreamer didn't manage to tap the point and get them to pull back like he had planned to.
Well, we just wait. We just wait for that respawn. Here we go again. Oh, he spots Lab, but no connection on the headshot.
Gets the body shot and they're just... It's not enough. Unfortunately.
Does make short work of the turret though, so that'll be the benefit at least of having a Widowmaker. You can dispatch of it pretty easily. Nice hook. Fundray goes up. When Fundray goes down, it was a Kraken that went up.
Yeah, he ended up pulling the hog straight to him. Probably didn't want that one.
No, certainly not. The revive across from Stolen Picnic, but that is out of the picture, and so is Stolen as well. A Kraken, a nice hook straight up in the air, and that's a big advantage now for Sydney Drop Bears. They push forward here on Paris.
Yeah, knowing a Kraken, he'd be loving this, the opportunity to play Roadhog. He's already got 2 picks. He's loving it, he's feeling it, and he has the whole hog too.
I don't know that he's going to need it at this point. The hooks seem to be enough. Noosh will throw out the Blizzard. That might be a little bit over-eager.
Yeah, surely Legacy are looking to swap up here, and they've
you'd have to be.
2 flex supports, so he has swapped off.
Yeah.
No, the Roadhog and the May are staying.
If they're staying, then that was a massive overinvestment of ultimates.
Yeah, that's a
ill-discipline
error
from Legacy.
That is a very big error from Legacy if they're going to stay on these heroes. Show you out of mech, but closing in on it. But now Drop Bears have the denial ults, the zone denial ults of the Dragon Strike and the whole hog. They can get some good point presence here. They can break the shield very quickly too. They break the Orisa shield with that whole hog. Looks like that's what they're going to be doing. The whole hog comes out from the Kraken. I don't know where it is, but it's breaking the May wall. Okay.
Breaking everything.
Yeah, he's really messing that May wall up.
Or Winter. Oh, man, if he would have got the headshot onto Stolen there, that would have been something. Still looking for it. Has, of course, got the Infrasight to help him out, and Niang is doing some damage, but Ike just charges him down. There should be a revive available for Fluoro, but it seems as though that's going to come on through. Just going to wait for the Widowmaker to respawn here, I suppose.
Looks like Drop Bears will have to go back to the drawing board. It's going to be very hard for them to take this point with double sniper. It's a very slow composition, and given the nature of this map, recontesting is pretty easy, so it's going to be difficult to take. I'm going to be interested to see how they make this work. They do have very good ultimates though. They have the Bongo Drum to increase the damage. They have the Dragon Strike, so here comes the drum now.
Oh, and the hold straight into it as well. That's a nice combo from Sydney Drop Bears. Oh, Shoyo with the self-destruct in as well. Didn't even see that one coming, and to be fair, neither did Legacy. And if you're going to make the point cap one way, that's certainly how you do it. They might not even get a recontest here, Legacy.
Well, I thought it was going to be hard to take, but it turns out when you hold and kill 6, it can be pretty quick to capture if everyone piles on. Yep. Legacy not getting a chance to recontest there at all. So
we start calling Modern the Big Hammer. Maybe we start calling Dreamer the Big Suck.
You know what? I might let you call him that, but I won't get the Korean translation for that.
I'm sure someone will give it to me. Oh, this is the replay as well of Shoyo's Diva Bomb. You can see it just fly straight in at the perfect position.
I bet Shoyo Cole's there. He kills 2 heroes, but I bet you he killed 4. Just because he killed the turret and the supercharger.
Yeah,
If
I
you
got
see
4.
that, I got 4! No, you got 2
And a
and 2
D-Mac.
toys.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, was it the bongo? It wasn't a D-Mac. It was a bongo.
yeah, it was a bongo and the
turret.
turret. Yeah, that's right.
Well, still, good stuff. And Sydney
Very-
drop bears 4 minutes and 39. I mean, you're happy with that for sure.
Yeah, you take that. If you turn up to Paris and someone says, have 2 points and 4 minutes 39 on the clock, you take that. Especially versus a team like Legacy, who could have thrown some curveballs in there. Very questionable May and Hoggold though on the first point. That boggled the brain, but things happen. Let's look at how they're going to approach the attack. They're looking to show a pretty similar comp. I don't know if the soldier will stay, but looks like drop bears will.
I do miss a bit of soldier.
Yeah, I don't think tank players do. It was very annoying peeking and then just getting like a third of your HP bar like removed instantly because the soldier just left clicking with a mercy pocket. Very annoying. But the drop bears defending on a Winston Goats composition, similar to Order.
Do you speak French?
Not at all.
Do escargots?
That's
I don't
some
know what
snail things, isn't it?
I don't know what it says. I have no idea.
I don't think I know anyone who speaks French actually.
Yeah, not one of the languages you tend to really learn here in Australia. Oh, Farah's going to put a few shots into the City Drop Bears defense. It's Rani at the moment and catches a Kraken. I don't know how that's happened, to be honest. But that's not going to be a good start to the fight for Sydney Drop Bears. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Ike going down, but they're just not really being able to deal with Rani. As I say that, though, Shoyo somehow, somewhere, gets that kill. Revive comes across, though, for Ike. And in the meanwhile, a couple of picks there for Legacy. So Sydney Drop Bears have to back away. That said, Legacy are in no position to actually get on the point, so there may well be a possibility for a recontest here from Sydney Drop Bears.
Yeah, they haven't got their heroes that usually contest the point up. That Hammond is usually the one that will anchor the point while the rest of the heroes look to get a surround so they can put the damage in. Now Fundre turns up, so the cap will begin, but Shoyo committing hard onto Ike, gets peeled for, and that could be the end of those tanks in there.
Yeah, this is not looking fun at all for Sydney Drop Bears. They're stuck in a bad position. Dreamer, the first to fall, and now they'll try to take some cover in the cafe, but I don't know how much they're going to really be able to find. And if they're stuck cowering away there, it means that they're not going to be contesting the point. And Legacy getting some good capture point time up here, despite losing players.
And they're about to run into this EMP barrage. The rally comes off, and that's what you need to do against the protection. Ooh. He manages to get one. Probably not enough, but Winter charging through with this rally. The Moira ult comes out from a Kraken, but they didn't get on the point. It's a Charlie Niner.
And it was winnable as well there for Sydney Drop Bears. As you can see, immediately after that point gets capped up, Sydney Drop Bears find 2 picks. They could well have held, but not to be. And he's just going to have to cop the L there. And this is actually pretty dangerous for Sydney Drop Bears. If they don't get out of here, they're going to be chased down by this Tracer. Dreamer surely falls. Now Legacy can kind of snowball onto the point.
Yeah, they need to get on the point and start this contest, but Shoyo hiding in the corner there, proving a little bit of a nuisance. The pulse bomb will come out for Ike soon. Doesn't choose to use it there. The Shoyo bomb comes out. Will it be able to get anything? Nothing. Just does damage to Fundre. Zones him out a little bit.
This is a very, very messy game, isn't it? Ronnie's actually killed himself there, getting a Kraken. Ike's hacked. You don't want to be hacked at all on Tracer. Does just get that health kit. That means he can get the... Never mind, he's dead. Don't worry about it. Transcendence is there. Not doing a whole lot here. City Drop Bears will invest the sound barrier and push forward.
I think that will spell the end of the fight. Looks like they have swapped up a little bit. A Kraken's gone over to the Ana, Winter over to the Sombra. You've seen immediate effects from that. It means Fundre will not have a fun time on the ball. Ike swapped over to Zarya, so you can see a goat swap coming in here. Stolen Picnic needs to get off Mercy though.
Does it really work against the composition that Sydney Drop Bears are running, especially when Winter's got EMP coming up shortly?
Yeah,
I mean, of course it works, but will it, is what I'm saying.
If the drop bears can find those big anti-nades or the biotic grenades from a Kraken, and they can... Are they going to go early here with the Graviton Surge?
Kraken's looking for it, and he actually kills Stolen Picnic with the bio nade. Fundre and Rane also copping the brunt of it. Too easy.
That's really smart from the side of Sydney Drop Bears. They know that those supports have only just swapped over. Lab used the Transcendence at the end of the last fight, so nothing to stop that Graviton Surge means that you can build some fast ult charge up. Dreamer's popped Primal Rage to go swap to Reinhardt. Okay.
Huh.
Wondering what he was doing yelling at the spawn door. But now Winter with this EMP, if he can catch the important members, such as Fundre and Nush, that Biotic Grenade can set up another fight win, and that will build more ult charge for the side of the Sydney Droppers.
EMP, and Noosh cops a face full of it, so does a couple of Legacy players. It's not the biggest EMP you've ever seen, but it is definitely enough to win the fight, as is being shown right now, quite equivocally by Sydney Droppers.
Yeah, and it's enough to build those ults up. Dreamer didn't get a lot, but Nyang got about 50%, so you like to see that. Shoyo takes a dip.
I thought Winter was getting a bit overeager there as well, but he's survived. If both Shoyo and Winter went down, it would have been a problem. Shoyo will get back pretty quickly though, and he has got self-destruct. Looks like Winter's going to go back onto Brigitte, so almost getting to the standard 3-3 matchup on both sides.
Yeah, Ike managed to stay alive that fight, so he got a lot of ult charge and he retained his energy. So he'll be very dangerous in this fight.
Grab there from him indeed, and the self-destruct does go across from Shoyo. It does catch Ike, so no more energy for him. And a good start to the fight as well for Sydney Drop Bears as they want to push on forward behind that shield. Shoyo doing the damage, waiting for Dreamer maybe to invest the shadow, but it doesn't look like he will need to this fight. Too clean of a win for Sydney Drop Bears. Oh, Picnic goes scooting around the side.
Very
Love
close to the
see
water.
him fall in there.
It is very cold in... Actually, is it cold? No, it would be summer in Paris.
It'd be summer in Paris, yeah.
The
I
water
don't
might
know
be
how
nice.
warm it would be though.
Probably still bloody cold. Zero.
Yeah.
But very
I
well...
mean, it can get warm. I've been to Germany in summer. It's been pretty warm there.
Oh.
They're pretty close together. Germany and the old France.
Yeah, very close together.
I'll have you know.
But Legacy now with a lot of ultimates, only using Ike's Graviton Surge there. They managed to bait out a few, so let's see if they can find some aggression here. Put Dreamer under pressure.
And there it is. Oh, Dreamer. It's a good one. Followed straight up by the Graviton Surge. There is, again, a double support ultimate investment there from Legacy. And I guess that's in response to the ultimates that were used by Sydney Drop Bears. We can talk about that in a second. Fundre's got to shut it down. Who's on the floor? I think just Dreamer. But no one else. So Sydney Drop Bears still have the numbers in this fight that they need to keep it alive, particularly if Shoyo's bomb gets anything and doesn't quite. It was very close too. It'll break the shield of Fundre.
Yeah, Fundre now has to play very passive. His shield just comes back up. Dreamer's respawned and he's on the charge though. He's on the loose. That Reinhardt coming back if he remains unchecked does so much damage. And
Yeah.
he's built himself up another shatter after using it the style of fight. He's got himself another one.
I want to go back and look at that last fight for Legacy supports because you again see the double support come out from them and you think, oh, that's not that good. But the way that fight actually played out, obviously the shatter came down, which typically you would counter with a sound barrier. Then the Graviton Surge comes down, which you would typically counter with a Transcendence. So I can almost excuse them for that.
Yeah, it can be a very difficult situation as we see they know they used the double support ult that fight, so in they go.
Stolen has
Dreamer
it.
straight in the middle.
Stolen was at 98% when those players went down.
Yes, that's so unfortunate, and you really hate that as a support player. It happens on Zenyatta so much.
1 minute left for Legacy. It's been a slow demise here on Paris, but it does feel as though they're not going to be able to get through this point B. Only the one tick captured so far.
No, if this is going to be the fight. If they're going to win, or if they're going to cap this, well, obviously it's the last fight, but this is probably their best chance. The Graviton Surge, not available on the side of Sydney Drop Bears. They have both their support ults. They have everything they need. They can build a shatter off the Graviton Surge of Ike, so you know it's really do or die now. And Sydney Drop Bears holding very aggressive, knowing that.
And Dreamer will get his shatter down early, but it doesn't really eventuate into a whole lot. Graviton surges through there, but this is going to be a self-destruct from Shoyo. It gets caught on the ledge. Doesn't matter, it's still going to catch Stolen. And again, that's the start to the fight that Sydney Drop Bears need, and they're going to be able to finish strongly by the looks of things. Lab will use the Transcendence, but he goes bouncing around as the rest of his team dies. It's like he's caught in a pinball machine and everyone else is dying. Fortunate for Legacy, but this is going to be a 2-0 on the board for Sydney Drop Bears.
Yeah, very disciplined from the side of Sydney Drop Bears as well. You saw as soon as that shatter failed, they got grabbed, but they all focused Fundre when they were in the grab, so he couldn't put the damage in to build that Earth Shatter and turn the fight. And you might have all the support ults in the world, but you just don't have the killing power, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately not. So I think it's safe to say Legacy not really being able to stand up to Sydney Drop Bears today. They're going to need to do some thinking during this break and figure out what they need to do to turn it around. And for Sydney Drop Bears, obviously adding their new DPS player or their old DPS player. I don't know where you want to go with that, but it just seems like it's really kind of business as usual.
Yeah, I mean, they look to be nailing the fundamentals very well. They had some really good suck hook combinations there. They had decent graviton surges. They're looking to set their shadows up on every opportunity, so that's good. They're showing the good fundamentals of this 3-3.
The big suck.
The big suck. I've got 4, yells Shoyo as he only gets 2. But
Hey, 2's still pretty good out of a
oh,
self-destruct.
you take 2 from an ultimate pretty much every day of the week.
If I could get 2 kills off of every self-destruct dive through, I would do that for sure.
No, I want 4.
You want
I
4?
want 4 or 5.
Well, there's no need to be greedy, okay, Smash?
Yeah, I mean, just go for glory, you know.
Yeah, going for Glory as that floor Lucio. Good stuff, mate. Sure, you're going to get a lot of that.
Didn't actually. I didn't get that much glory. It was always the children that took the glory from me.
Yeah,
Didn't
well,
really
look
matter.
where you are now.
Well, look where they are.
Exactly. You're the one that can make or break that glory. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
You have the power to make or break the glory.
That is true. Good ult tracking from the Sydney Droppers as well. They looked like they were on top of it. They knew exactly when they had the support ults ready on the side of Legacy, and they took advantage of it, played very aggressive, and that's what you like to see from that 3-3 composition.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it just seems like it's, like I said, business as usual for Sydney Drop Bears. No real concerns for them. I guess, you know, there would be mistakes coming out from Sydney Drop Bears, but they're not being really taken advantage of by Legacy at all. So it seems to be fairly comfortable, this series, for Sydney Drop Bears. I still won't go so far as to say I think it's going to be a 4-0, although it probably will be. Legacy... Again, if they get their stuff going, they might be able to still sneak a map. It's looking difficult for them, though. I think that's fair to say. So we're going to have to give them a little bit of time to think about things. We're going to head to a break. We've got 2 more maps, maybe 3, coming up after this.